Listen carefully, because this might be the moment your entire life shifts. Most people complain about their situation, but almost nobody is willing to transform themselves to escape it. They want success without sacrifice, growth without discomfort, and results without effort. But here's the truth you must swallow today. You can't change your life without changing yourself. Until you upgrade the person inside, the world outside stays exactly the same. If you keep living like the same person you've always been, you will keep getting the same life you've always had. Nothing will magically improve. Nothing will suddenly become easier. The universe doesn't reward wishes, it rewards transformation. People think success is about motivation. No, success is about identity. It's about deciding who you must become to earn the life you dream of. Your habits, your discipline, your mindset, your standards. These form the architecture of your future. If those things don't evolve, your circumstances never will. You can't build a billionaire life with a minimum effort personality. You can't expect respect if you still act like the old version of you. Your results will always match your character. Every champion, every high performer, every unstoppable person you admire didn't escape their old life. They outgrew it. They killed their weak habits. They crushed their excuses. They built new standards so high that the old version of them could never survive inside it. They repeat the same days, the same excuses, the same habits, expecting their life to magically transform. But life doesn't reward wishes. It rewards transformation. And transformation doesn't begin with action. It begins with identity. It begins with who you believe you are. If you see yourself as weak, you will behave weak. If you see yourself as average, you will live average. But if you start to see yourself as someone who is capable, disciplined, intelligent, focused, unstoppable, the world will start responding to you differently. Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you build from the inside out. Your identity becomes your foundation. And if that foundation isn't strong, everything you build will eventually collapse. Here's the hook. Your life is not stuck. You are. And that is the greatest news you could ever receive, because it means you have full control over your transformation. You don't need permission. You don't need luck. You don't need anyone to save you. The moment you decide to change who you are, everything around you will begin to shift. Your relationships, your habits, your standards, your environment, they all evolve as you evolve. Transformation is not about tearing your life apart. It's about rebuilding yourself from the inside. It's about questioning your old limits. It's about destroying the version of you that settled, doubted, procrastinated, and feared failure. It's about crafting a new version of yourself, one that is bold, disciplined, and committed to growth. Every powerful transformation starts with a decision. I refuse to remain the person I've been. Imagine who you could become if you stopped negotiating with your excuses. Imagine who you could be if you raised your standards instead of lowering your expectations. Imagine your life 1 year from now if you dedicated yourself to inner growth. Your discipline, your mindset, your confidence, your focus, your external success would have no choice but to rise to match it. This is the secret winners understand. The world doesn't change for you. You change and the world responds. When you become stronger, opportunities appear that were invisible before. When you become disciplined, results arrive that once felt impossible. When you evolve emotionally and mentally, your entire reality reshapes itself around your new identity. Everything becomes possible the moment you decide to become the person who deserves more. Here's the hard truth. You can escape a job, a city, a relationship, but you can't escape yourself. If you don't change internally, you'll recreate the same problems wherever you go. But the opposite is also true. Once you transform within, there is no environment that can limit you. You become the kind of person who thrives anywhere. The transformation you're searching for will not come from motivation videos, lucky breaks, or external validation. It will come from one powerful moment. The moment you choose to evolve. The moment you decide to upgrade your habits, elevate your thoughts, and become the strongest version of yourself. Because the day you change internally is the day your entire life begins to follow. Discipline creates the future you want, and until you fully understand this, life will feel like an endless loop of almost achieving, almost starting, almost changing. Motivation may spark your journey, but discipline is what carries you across the finish line. Anyone can feel inspired for a moment, but only disciplined people turn those moments into results. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be, and without it, you will stay trapped in the cycle of starting strong and quitting early. You need to hear this clearly. Your future is being built every single day by the choices you make when no one is watching. Here's the hook. Your goals don't care about your feelings. Success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Discipline is what pushes you forward when motivation disappears. And trust me, it always disappears. There will be days when you don't want to wake up early, when you don't want to work, when you don't want to train, when you don't want to study, and when your mind will try to convince you that skipping today won't make a difference. But that's the trap. That one skipped day becomes 2, then 3, and suddenly your entire dream is drifting away from you. Discipline is the art of mastering yourself. It's choosing progress over comfort. It's showing up even when the world gives you a list of excuses. It's ignoring the voice that says, "You've done enough." Discipline isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, consistent, and relentless. And that's exactly why it works. Discipline compounds. Every discipline action builds momentum. Every day you stick to your routine, you reinforce your identity as someone who follows through. And once you become that person, everything in your life begins to change. Most people never succeed because they rely on emotion. They work when they feel good and they quit when they feel tired. They want success, but they allow their feelings to control their actions. But disciplined people operate on commitment, not emotion. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, is it necessary? They understand that success is not about desire. It's about consistency. It's about doing the work on the days when your mind tries to negotiate with you. If you want the future you dream of, you must become someone your future self respects. Discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. It's proving to yourself that your goals matter, that your future matters. Not because the task itself is difficult, but because you defeated the part of your mind that wanted to stay weak, lazy, or comfortable. Every time you follow through, you strengthen the mental muscle that builds resilience, confidence, and courage. And once that muscle grows, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Think about this. Your dream life is already waiting for you. The version of you who is successful, confident, focused, respected, and powerful already exists, but you cannot meet that version until you stop acting like the old one. The only path between the current you and the upgraded you is daily discipline. No shortcuts, no secrets, no magic, just consistency. Discipline turns time into results. It turns habits into accomplishments. It turns effort into transformation. And the moment you stop relying on motivation and start relying on discipline, everything changes. Your work improves. Your mindset sharpens. Your confidence grows. Your opportunities expand. You begin to live each day with purpose instead of distraction. You become someone impossible to stop. The life you want is real, but it demands a price. Discipline is that price. And the moment you decide to pay it every single day, your future begins to unfold exactly the way you dreamed. Your identity shapes your results. And until you understand this truth, you will continue chasing success without ever catching it. People try to change their lives while holding on to the same beliefs, the same attitude, and the same self-image that created their current situation. But here's the reality you must face today. You cannot build a powerful life while living with a powerless identity. Your results will always rise or fall to the level of the person you believe yourself to be. If your identity stays small, your life stays small. No matter how hard you try, here's the hook. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. If you see yourself as someone who quits easily, you will quit. If you see yourself as someone who never succeeds, your mind will subconsciously sabotage you. If you see yourself as average, you will behave average. But the moment you begin to see yourself as disciplined, strong, capable, and deserving of more, your actions shift automatically, your habits improve, your decisions sharpen, your confidence grows, and your life begins to reshape itself around that new identity. This is why two people can have the same opportunity and get completely different outcomes. One person sees themselves as a winner. They take action, they believe in their potential, and they take responsibility. The other person sees themselves as unlucky or incapable, so they hesitate, procrastinate, and doubt. Their identity determines their outcome long before their actions do. You cannot outperform the story you tell yourself about yourself. People spend their lives trying to change circumstances, not realizing their circumstances are just mirrors reflecting who they currently are. Your work ethic, your mindset, your decisions, your habits, they're all shaped by your identity. You don't act outside of who you believe you are. If you want a new life, you must build a new internal blueprint because your identity is the architect of your future. Here's another powerful hook you need to absorb. Your identity is a choice. You're not stuck with the identity you inherited from your past, your environment, or your failures. You can rewrite it. You can rebuild it. You can upgrade it. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. When you keep promises to yourself, you strengthen your identity. When you follow through on commitments, you transform your identity. When you push past excuses, you evolve into someone unstoppable. Most people fall short not because they lack potential, but because they never take control of who they believe they are. They tell themselves stories like, I'm not disciplined, I can't change, I've always been like this. Those stories become chains. But when you begin replacing those stories with new ones, I am in control, I am consistent, I grow every day, you break those chains and step into a version of yourself who is finally capable of achieving greatness. Your identity becomes a silent force. It guides your choices, your reactions, your standards. A person with a strong identity of discipline won't entertain laziness. Someone who sees themselves as successful won't accept mediocrity. Someone who views themselves as a leader won't shrink in the face of challenges. When your identity shifts, your behavior shifts automatically without forcing it. And the most powerful part is this: your identity influences the opportunities you attract. People respond differently to someone who believes in themselves. Doors open, respect increases. You begin to operate with a presence that others feel. Your energy changes, and so does your environment. If you want bigger results, build a bigger identity. Not a fake one, not hype, not arrogance, but a real one. Built through consistency, discipline, and self-respect. Because the moment you begin to see yourself as someone worthy of success, someone capable of greatness, someone built for more, your actions will fall in line, and your life will rise to match the person you've decided to become. Excuses protect your weakness, not your potential. And until you fully understand this truth, you will continue staying stuck in the same patterns that have held you back for years. Excuses are comfortable, they are easy, and they feel safe, but they slowly destroy your ambition, your confidence, and your future. Every time you tell yourself, I'm tired, I'll do it tomorrow, I don't have the time, or I'm not ready, you are not protecting yourself from failure. You are protecting the weaker version of you from growth. And here's the harsh reality you must accept. Excuses are the chains that keep you locked inside a life far smaller than the one you're capable of living. Here's the hook. Your excuses are lying to you. They disguise themselves as reasons, but they are nothing more than the limits you've accepted. They sound logical. They sound rational. And sometimes they even sound necessary. But every excuse you make is a negotiation with your own potential. It is you choosing comfort over progress. It is you choosing ease over excellence. It is you choosing the life you have instead of the life you want. People who achieve extraordinary success are not superhuman. They are simply people who refuse to let excuses dictate their actions. They understand that excuses may feel good in the moment, but they destroy you in the long run. They understand that the world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. And you cannot execute if you're constantly protecting your old habits with new excuses. Here's another hook you need to feel deeply. Every excuse you make trains your mind to accept weakness. When you skip a workout because you don't feel like it, you train your mind to accept inconsistency. When you avoid a challenge because it's too hard, you train your mind to accept fear. When you delay your goals because you're not ready, you train your mind to accept procrastination. Slowly, these excuses become part of your identity. They become your default reaction to every opportunity. You stop trying, you stop believing, and without realizing it, you become a prisoner of your own limitations. On the other hand, every time you reject an excuse, you reinforce your strength. When you act despite not wanting to, you build discipline. When you push through discomfort, you build resilience. When you choose action over avoidance, you build confidence. And once these qualities become part of your identity, excuses lose their power. They become background noise, annoying, but easy to ignore. The truth is, excuses don't protect you. They trap you. They keep you from discovering what you're truly capable of. They rob you of the satisfaction that comes from working hard, winning small battles, and proving yourself wrong. They convince you to stay the same even when you know you were meant for more. Imagine how different your life would be if you stopped feeding your excuses. Imagine the opportunities you'd attract, the skills you'd develop, the confidence you'd build. Imagine how powerful you'd feel waking up each day knowing you are in control. Not your emotions, not your fears, not your doubts, and certainly not your excuses. The moment you stop accepting excuses is the moment your real life begins. It's the moment you take responsibility. It's the moment you stop being a victim and start being the creator of your future. You become someone who chooses action over comfort, commitment over laziness, discipline over distraction. And once you become that person, your potential accelerates. Your dreams begin to feel possible. Your goals become clearer. Your path becomes stronger. Here's the final hook. You don't need fewer excuses. You need stronger reasons. Reasons to show up. Reasons to push harder. Reasons to grow. Reasons to change. Because when your reasons become stronger than your excuses, the weaker version of you has no choice but to step aside. And the stronger, more capable, more determined version of you finally steps into the life that was waiting all along. Consistency beats talent every single time, and until you truly understand this, you will continue overestimating natural ability and underestimating the quiet, relentless force that actually builds success. Talent may give someone a head start, but consistency determines who finishes the race. You don't need to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most gifted to win. You just need to show up every day with commitment, discipline, and a refusal to quit. The world is filled with talented people who never made it because they relied on ability instead of effort. But consistency compounds. One day of work may not seem like much, but 100 days of work transforms your entire identity. The people who win in life don't do massive things occasionally. They do the right things consistently. They understand that the magic is in the repetition, not the rush. Imagine where you would be right now if you had stayed consistent with your goals from the moment you first made them. Imagine the body you would have built if you trained every day. Imagine the skills you'd have today if you never stopped practicing. Imagine the mindset you'd have if you stayed disciplined instead of giving in to excuses. That version of you already exists. It's simply waiting for you to show up consistently. Consistency also destroys fear. Once you prove to yourself repeatedly that you can take action, fear loses its power. You become someone who doesn't wait for the perfect moment. You create it. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on habits. And habits are far more powerful than feelings. Feelings fluctuate. Habits stay. They carry you through the days when your mind tries to hold you back. Here's the final hook you need to absorb deeply. Consistency is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter what disadvantages you've faced. If you show up every single day with focus and discipline, you will surpass people who had every advantage but lacked consistency. Small steps repeated daily create big results. And the moment you commit to being consistent, truly consistent, you step into a version of yourself capable of achieving anything you once thought was impossible. No one is coming to save you. And the sooner you understand this truth, the faster your life will begin to change. People waste years waiting for a miracle, waiting for motivation, waiting for help, waiting for the perfect moment, when deep down they know the only person capable of transforming their life is the one they see in the mirror every morning. You are responsible for your growth, your success, your failures, and your future. And while that may sound heavy, it is also the most empowering truth you will ever hear. Because if no one is coming to save you, then no one can stop you either. Here's the hook. The life you want is not waiting for someone else. It's waiting for you. Many people walk around believing someone else will solve their problems. They think a new job will fix everything. They think a new relationship will heal them. They think a lucky break will finally make life easy. But here's the reality. Nothing changes until you do. No opportunity has the power to change your life unless you are prepared to maximize it. No mentor, no coach, no friend can do the work for you. You can receive guidance, but execution is your responsibility, and it always will be. This truth is uncomfortable, and that's why most people avoid it. It's easier to blame circumstances than to take accountability. It's easier to claim bad luck than to admit a lack of effort. It's easier to blame others for your failures than to confront your own patterns. But accountability is the birthplace of power. The moment you take full ownership of your life is the moment you unlock the potential to change it. Here's another hook. The world owes you nothing, but it will give you everything once you prove you're willing to earn it. Waiting is the enemy of progress. Every day you wait for someone to help you is another day you fall behind. Every day you wait for motivation is another day wasted. Every day you expect someone else to fix your problems is another day you hand away your power. Winners don't wait for rescue. They build resilience. They don't wait for chances. They create them. They don't wait for support. They become strong enough to stand alone. When you accept that no one is coming to save you, something powerful happens. You stop relying on emotion and start relying on discipline. You stop waiting for permission and start moving with purpose. You stop acting like a passenger in your own life and start driving your own direction. You become intentional. You become focused. You become unstoppable. This mindset doesn't make you cold or isolated. It makes you powerful, because once you realize your life is in your hands, you start making decisions that reflect your potential, not your excuses. You choose growth over comfort. You choose action over hesitation. You choose responsibility over blame. You choose to build the life you want rather than complain about the life you have. Imagine how different your life would be if you stopped waiting. Imagine the progress you'd make if you started taking action today instead of postponing it to someday. Imagine the strength you'd develop if you stopped relying on others and started relying on yourself. Imagine the momentum you'd build if you replaced expectations with discipline. People who change their lives do so because they accept one simple truth: they are in control. They embrace the challenges, they accept the failures, they learn, they adapt, they grow, they stop thinking someone will magically appear with answers, and instead, they become the person who creates solutions. They stop waiting for motivation and instead build habits so strong that motivation becomes irrelevant. Here's the final hook. You are the hero of your story, but only if you choose to act like it. No one is writing your destiny for you. No one is coming with a rescue plan, a shortcut, or a promise of success. Your life is shaped by your choices, your habits, your effort, and your mindset. And the moment you stop waiting for someone to save you is the moment you step into the most powerful version of yourself. The version capable of achieving everything you once thought was impossible. Your future version is watching you. Your family's future is depending on you. Your destiny is waiting for you to wake up and step into it. So hear this loud and clear. You can't change your life without changing yourself. Become the kind of person your future needs. Build the discipline. Build the mindset. Build the courage. And the day you finally upgrade yourself, that's the day everything around you elevates with you.